I think this one's my favorite, um, mainly because of the ability it gives us to reach out to the public, and the other part of it is just how easy it is to do. It's just amazing how easy it is to put together a site on the fly. So if you have an idea of what you want to put in for your content and you're ready to go, you can literally make a site in 5 or 10 minutes. Um, if you want, and you can make as many as you want for sharing for any silly idea that may come to your mind, a project you're working on, whatever. This week, I did not make a Google Slides presentation. Instead, I just have this site that I made. And I'm going to put the link into the chat if you want to take a look at it. These are probably resources you're going to want to visit after the fact, but I'm going to give them to you now anyway. And you can feel free to, browse through here. And what I've done on here is this is a basic agenda of everything I'm covering. And then within here, I've put a few links that give you the steps. But I'll tell you what's the best part of this is that if you go all the way to the bottom, there's a quick video. There's my moose. I always use the moose. There's a quick video that I made that will cover all the basics of just getting started with Google Sites and using it. Okay. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is there's an old version of Google Sites and there's a new version of Google Sites. We're using the new one. They're going to eventually deprecate the old one. It's going to go away. Right now, it's still available, but there will be a time. And believe me, you don't want to use the old one. The new one is much easier to use and a lot more fun and easy. A couple things before I get to actually creating a site. I want to show you some of the features of a site that is created. One thing that it does, this particular page you're looking at was made in Google Sites. And one thing that it does that is wonderful is that it makes what's called a responsive site, which in today's world, we've come to expect with responsive sites. Now, you might not know what I mean by a responsive site, but I'll show you. A responsive site is this. When I look at this on a desktop computer, it looks a certain way to fit on a desktop computer. But if I were to look at it like on an iPad, it might look a little different, like something like this.
I can't hear you anymore.
It appears that we lost Phil's mic, so he's going to attempt to resolve that, go out and come back in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second and let's see if we can correct this.
What screen is showing?
Your sound is on, Phil.
I can hear you now, Phil.
Okay, but now what screen are you looking at? Because I'm using a different app now.
We're looking at the original screen that you were displaying.
Same what we were looking at before.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I don't know where my sound drop. I don't know why that keeps happening. I'm not touching anything, I can tell you that. But it's okay. We'll just move on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go directly to making a site now and show you just how easy that is to do. So to do that, I'm just going to go to Drive. All good things start in Drive, okay? And I am going to click on New. And because now we're in the advanced levels of Google Apps, we have to go to More. And I'm going to scroll down to Sites. So when we make a site, the file that we create for the site shows up right in our Google Drive, just like a doc or a sheet or anything else that we've made. It comes in the same way. And when you make your first site, this is what everybody's site looks like when they first start. They all start equal, okay? At the very top are a few tools that we'll look at. On the far right is the Insert menu, Pages menu, and Themes menu. I'm going to come back to themes later because it actually illustrates them better when there's actually content to look at. But if I go to Insert, these are the various things I can insert. You can see there are the top 4 here: text, images, embedding code. Some of you have probably done that in other web type applications. And upload is actually not a good it's not a good name for it. It's really what you use if you want to upload an image from your computer, as opposed to images where you're getting images that are either in your Drive or available through Google. As I scroll down, you can see these other things I can insert into my page. If I want to get a horizontal divider in my page, I can pick one right from here. If I want to get something from my Google Drive, I can click here and navigate my Google Drive and I can import it. And we're going to do a lot of that. So I'm going to come back to that. And then down here, it separates things. I can put YouTube videos in. I can put in a Google Calendar. This is a great way to show a Google Calendar that you want to share with a lot of people or with the public in general. If you want to put in a Google Map, you can put in an address in a Google Map and have it showing right in a page. This is excellent if you're having a conference or a get-together and you want to put directions into a page. It's great to do. Then I can pick from any of my docs, slides, sheets, forms, or charts. When you put a chart in, it's a chart that would be coming from a spreadsheet, from a Google Sheet. And the beauty of that is when you do that, it becomes a dynamic chart, meaning that if the content of the Google Sheet changes, the chart will change too. So let's get to actually inserting some of this stuff. So we're going to start with our banner. And the first thing it's going to want is our name. So I'm going to put a Google site name. I'll call this Webinar Sites. And just like everything else, if I click in the file name at the top of the screen, it will copy what I have in here. And now my page needs a title. So I'm going to click in here and just give my page a title. So I'll just call this Webinar. Everybody hearing me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So
Yes.
here's the webinar. I'm just going to call it that for lack of a better title, but now I'm putting in a title. So now you always have a banner at the top of the page here. This is how it works by default. You can control this a little. By the way, I will tell you this. For those of you that really want to control visuals and things like that, this is not for you. The visuals control you. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. Mainly because in order to make it work globally on the web, they can't really give you a lot of options because Web design is not like designing a document. There's a lot of rules that need to be adhered to in order to get what you want. So if you want to make all kind of crazy fonts with funny colors and backgrounds and things blinking all over the place, this might not be the thing you like, but you're gonna like it because of how quick and easy and convenient it becomes. And then you learn to live with the limitations. The other thing is, one thing I do like about the limitations it has is if you do assign this to students, at least you won't get horrible looking pages. If they're given enough rope to hang themselves, they will. At least this sort of corrals them into actually making the stuff look like it has some consistency in it. So I just wanted to keep that in mind as we move forward. So now if I want to change my banner, I have a couple of options, not a lot, but just a few. And if I mouse over the banner, you'll start to see that I can get this thing. Look, I can do the header type, which the default is banner. I could do the large banner. So if I wanted like a bigger picture or something like that up there, I could do that. Or I could do title only, which I think actually works better for inner pages as opposed to my main landing page. I think I reserve that for later. So usually I just stick with the plain old banner, and then I can adjust the banner itself by clicking change image. I have a choice of uploading an image from my machine. If I want, it'll allow me to find something on my machine to put up, or I can choose one of theirs. And if I hit select image, I can grab any of these if I like, or I can search the web. You search Google for an appropriate image, but I'm going to use one of theirs just because it's easier. So I'm going to go to the gallery, and I want you to look at something before I move on. You see how this text is white text over a dark background? I'm going to change my image, and I'm going to select a lighter color image like this one. Okay, and I'm doing this for a reason. Actually, I'll do this console. This is more like my kind of thing. So I'm going to click this and hit select. Now watch, look at the bottom corner of my page. Did you see what it did? It adjusted the image and the text so that the text becomes legible. Okay, what I mean is it will actually scan the color dominance of an image, and if it appears to be too light and you have light text over top of it, it will reverse it for you. Okay, let me shut that off. You can click this down here on the bottom right corner if you want to shut that off, and it'll go back to normal. But as you can see, it looks a lot better with what they did because my text is legible. Okay, so that's just an automatic feature that goes in there, and it's a time saver, I can tell you that. If you've ever tried to balance text over top of images, it's a nice time saver. Now, the next most important thing to put into your page will be your text. You can do it from over here, where the on the right-hand corner where this menu is with the text box. But I have a better way, or let's say at least a more fun way of putting it in. And what I like to do is just double-click right on the canvas of where I want to put my text. So if I want to go here and put in text, this little wheel appears, and in the center of it is the text button. And then it has the other important things, the drive, the embed, the images, and whatnot. So I'm going to click on text, and we'll get our first glimpse of the limited amounts of text editing we have in here. Okay, first thing that goes in when you put in any object in Google Sites is this block area. Okay, everything is divided into a block. This is what I mean is if I go down here and I put in more text, you'll see it has its own block. Do you see these two separate blocks? I'm clicking on them. The second one I'm going to delete to get rid of. I just wanted to show you how that works. Now I can put in some text here. Welcome to Sites. And now I have a couple of options. Not a lot. This is normal text, which is the default, but I could do title. I could do heading. I could do subheading, and I could do small. Okay, I'm going to go to title, and I can also do my left justify center if I want to center everything, or right justify if I like. But I'm going to stick to the left for now. And that's how this works. Now, things like title and heading and subheading will change when we come over and start to change our themes. The colors and the size and the fonts will change a little bit based on the themes we choose. So we'll come back and do that later. Now, if I want to add some more text in here, I can just I'll type in just some gibberish here, just to show you what that looks like. And now I can just add text at will. If I want to do bullets, I can put them in here like this, or I could switch them to numbers. This is just word processing 101. But a more important thing to look at is if I want to put in a link. So if I want to do a link to ETTC, I could click here. I can select it and put the link in. And I just have to put the URL of the link that I want my link to go to. So if I want to, it'll just be ettc.net. And I'll apply that. And now that's previewing to me that that it will be going there. And if I need to edit that link, if I made a mistake on it, I can always mouse over it and click on the pencil if I need to fix it. Okay, so that puts the link in very nicely. The other thing is you'll see this blue box keeps appearing when I mouse over my text area. If I click on this box, I can collapse it if I like, and I can actually move it to different spots in the page if I want to change my layout a little bit. So if I want to put this over here on the right, and let's say I want to put a picture over here on the left, I can click over on the left now. I'm outside of the text box, but in the same block. And let's say I want to put in an image. So what I did is I just double clicked on the left and selected images, and I'll do search, and I'll do, let's see if there's a picture of Google Sites that I could put in. Okay, this will be good. I'll use the logo. So now, see, I can, kind of start to put together something that looks pretty cool. I can do these kind of things. So now I've got my first block taken care of. Now maybe I want to put something in here. I want to add a few more things. So I'm going to go down here to the block, and the next thing I want to do is maybe put in a little video tutorial about how to use Google Sites. So if I click in here, you'll see that nothing here, no option here is for a video. But if I go over here, I can go to YouTube. Now, the only video option it gives you is YouTube. There is a way to use non-YouTube videos if you put them on your Google Drive and link to them from your Google Drive. I'll show you how that works. But otherwise, you have two choices for video here: YouTube or something that you've put on your Google Drive. The good news is that when you use a YouTube video, when you insert a YouTube video, it does not bring in all the YouTube distractions that come from a YouTube video. Okay, meaning the comments, the other video, all those little things that are on a YouTube page. This is a great way to isolate just a video when you want to show it or have it for a classroom page. So let's see if there's a little Google Sites. Let's see if there's a little tutorial. And here's one, 9 minutes, Google Sites for beginners. Okay, I'm going to hit select, and it puts it right into my page. Now look, I can resize it and change. So if I want to make it really really big or whatever, I can do so. Now, one thing I have not done is we're working in an edit view as opposed to what it's actually going to look like to the world. From time to time, you need to keep checking to see what these things are going to look like when you share them, when other people see them. So just like we did with Google Forms, if you were present for the Google Forms workshop, if you click on preview at the top, this little eye, it gives you a preview of your site. So this is what my site is starting to look like. So it looks pretty good out of the box. Now I can see this little menu here when you preview. This lets me preview the responsive versions of the site. Meaning, if I click this one to the far left, this is what it looks like on a phone. And if I click the one in the middle, this is what it would look like on a tablet. And then, of course, this is the desktop version. And you can, preview as you go along as much as you want. And when you're done previewing, just click the X, and it takes you back to your editing view. So that's how that works. Next, what I want to do is add another page to my site. So what I'm going to do is click on Pages. And you'll see that the only page I have is Home. Well, let's say that I want to make another page that just has lots of links in it. Okay, so I'm going to make a page. I'll just call it maybe Resources. Okay, whatever you type in here, that's what the name of the link is going to appear as on your page, on your site. So I'm going to click Done, and now you'll see that as soon as you make a new page, it immediately goes over to the new editing page. You can get back to your original page by clicking on it in this menu on the right. But I'm going to go to Resources, and for Resources, I'm going to change my header type to just title only. I can make this a little simpler. And now I can begin to put in any types of things that I want to put in here, more text. Putting in content is pretty simple. Little spell checker there to help me out. So I can put this in as a title, and then and of course I can just put in whatever resources I want on this page. But what's more important is what happened up here. Okay, up here, it made this little menu. See the menu it made at the top of my page, Home and Resources. So now it actually just creates a navigation bar as you keep working. Now I can also, now that I have this navigation bar, if I want to change the style of navigation that I have, I can do so from up here. So if I just mouse over my the very top of my banner here, go over to this Settings icon, I can switch to side navigation. Now, side navigation is a little weird because it doesn't show while you're developing. It only shows when you preview. So if I preview this, you'll see what this looks like with side navigations. Now it has the little thing on the side, so that's what it would look like to the world. But I'm going to keep this in top navigation simply because we get to see a little more of what's happening. And you can switch that at any time. Anytime you feel like it, you can switch that. Okay, now I'm going to add another page. This one's going to be interesting. Watch this one. I want to make a page that's, let's say this is for a classroom. We're going to make a page called Syllabus. And it's just going to be a page with syllabus stuff in it. Okay, nothing special there. I might have one maybe that's a Google Doc that I might want to put into the page or something like that. I'll take care of that later. But I want to add another page, and I want to call this one Assignments. But I want to do something different with assignments. I want assignments to be a subcategory of syllabus. In other words, I don't want it to be in the home page navigation. So you see how I have assignments here? You see how assignments appeared at the top in my navigation? I don't want it there. I want it to be part of syllabus. So I want people to be able to see the syllabus, and from the syllabus, I want them to be able to get to the various assignments I might have. So if I take this and just drag it and sort of place it underneath the syllabus page, wait, I need to drag it like onto it. So kind of drag it like into it. See what it did? It created like an indent, it indented it, which means that now assignments is a sub-page of syllabus. Now, what that looks like in the real world is like this. Now syllabus has a drop-down menu where I can go and select something right from there, or I could go just to the syllabus page itself. So you can control the hierarchy of your pages this way. If I want to drag it back out into the main menu area, I can just drag it out. And I can also, by the way, change the order of these if I want to change the order simply by dragging and dropping them into the spot from top to bottom, in the order that I want them to appear. So you have a nice set of control over all of these various sub pages, and it's real easy to create multiple sub pages. Now let's do some themes. Okay, so over here are themes, and with themes, this is where you get to kind of change the overall look. So right now, the default one is simple with this sort of turquoise color or something like that. I'm going to switch over here to purple. Okay, and now you'll see, look how some of my header text changed to purple. You see that? Okay, so like if I go to some of my inner pages, you'll see maybe some different color. Look, see the purples here? Or if I do like the greens, it will do that. Or maybe I'll go over here and pick one of these themes down here, like level. Okay, so let's see what that looks like on the home page. All right, not a huge difference, but there are subtle changes. And or vision, this is another one. See, it has the little gray lines above the titles. Just, you know, various different things. I think that as time goes on, this version of Google Sites is fairly new. And I think that as time goes on, they're going to give more and more options this way. You can also pick your own color. It's one of the few things that actually lets you do. But I'm going to just go with purple. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, another thing that you can work with visually that's nice is when you have multiple blocks like this. Let me put in another one. This is more text. Okay, I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to, if I want to change where this comes in my page, where it shows, I see these little dots over here on the left of when I mouse over a block. I can just drag the block to wherever I want it to go if I want. Now, it's also nice to use this next feature. If you see this little palette on the side, see as I mouse over each block, these menu options appear on the left. If I click on the little palette, I can change my background. So if I click on emphasis 2, now it gives me, it changes my text to white and my background to purple. Of course, that purple is based on the theme I picked. If I have the other theme, you'll see that that's a different color. But I can change this very nicely this way. If I have a block that's started that's similar to another block I want to start creating, and I only want to make a few changes, I can duplicate a block. And just by clicking that, so now you'll see I have 2 of these. I don't know why I would want 2 of those, but you can do that. You know, but I might want to duplicate that to make some minor changes. And of course, thank God, you can also delete your block by clicking the little trash can there. So that's how those work. Now, this is, you know, pretty much basic all around an image, being able to put in an image, being able to put in a video, and being able to put in, of course, text is the, you know, the absolute basics. So now we can start to look at some of the more interesting things that Google Sites offers us. One thing I want to do, I do want to show you, is that another thing that's nice is you can make images into buttons by making them linkable. So if I click on an image, you'll see that I have these image options. By the way, I can crop an image from up here if I like, or so if I wanted to crop this, see the crop area is the square that's showing underneath. And I'll just hit the enter key or the check mark here to make that crop. So you can do that with an image. But if I wanted to make a link to something from this image, so if people wanted to click on it, I could take them there. Well, one thing I could do is I could even link to some of my other pages, or I could just type in a URL. I'll just do ettc.net again and hit apply. And now that is a linkable image. So if I am in my preview and I click this image, it takes me to the ETTC website. So you see how that works. So I'm going to close that out and move on. Now I'm going to show you the stuff I really think makes this stuff come together, particularly if you're interested in sharing resources and things with students. Okay, so I'm going to go to one of my other pages. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to my pages header at the top, and I'll go to resources. Now in my resources page, let's say that I have a folder in my Google Drive that has a bunch of things that I want students to be able to get to, maybe all the course materials, whatever. And I want people to be able to get to those. What you can do is when I go back to the insert menu, I can click on, see this thing from Drive? If I click this, and I'm going to click this one called audio production. It has a lot of stuff in it. Or actually, no, wait. Yeah, this is fine. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to click this. As you can see, this is a shared folder. See the little person on it, as opposed to the folder below it that doesn't have a little person on it. And that's because this is a shared folder. Wait, hold on. Let me get rid of these because it keeps on selecting them as I select them. So it's important that your folder is shared, because if it's not shared, nobody will ever see it in your page. So this is important. Now, what happens when I share a folder? Look, I'm just selecting a folder and I'm going to click Insert. What happens when I share a folder is this becomes almost like an embedded file server on your page. So these are all the files and folders inside of that folder. Now I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to make this look a little more user-friendly by clicking Grid View as opposed to List View, and I'm going to hit Done. And now I'm going to preview this page to show you what people will get on the other side. Okay, what you get now is this scrollable window with every file that's related to my to the class that I'm doing. So some of these are images. You can see the thumbnails for the images. Some of these are documents. Okay, so if I want somebody to see a document, they can click on one of these and it will just open up. So this is a great way to share files for whatever reason you might want to do. Or this could just be a photo gallery by the thumbnails themselves, because the photos become thumbnails. And if somebody clicks on one of the photos, it opens it up into the actual preview of the actual size of the thumbnail. It allows you to do that. If I click on one of the other folders that's embedded inside of the folder that I've shared, it will open that folder in my Google Drive. And again, people can then get to any of the images that are in there if they so desire. So this is a great sharing folder. It's a great way to share, but there's other things we can put in to our pages as well from Google. So let me go to my syllabus page, and I need to get back into editing mode, and I'm going to click on Docs this time, and let's see. Let me do a quick search. Let me see if I have a syllabus. Okay, nothing's showing up. I don't know how that could be. That doesn't matter. Here, I'm just going to pick one of these documents here. Let's see if there's I want to put something that's a little bit long so you can see how that works. Let me see something. I'll just use this Mixlog. So if I click this, it embeds a Google Doc right into the page. So if you already have a document and you just want to make it visible, you can do so in here. Now what this will look like in the world is like this. I'm going to preview and see it embeds it in the page with its own scroll bar. So you can share any document. This works great with PDF files and things like that if you need to do that. So that's embedding a document. Now what really looks good is when you embed a Google slideshow. So this is a great way to, when you create a presentation for a class and you want to share it with the class. Let's get rid of this. We've had enough of that. Let's put in a Google slide, and here, Google add-ons. Okay, I'll put these in here, shared by one of my other Google trainers. And this is what a slideshow looks like in a page. Remember, for those of you that took Google Slides, and if I preview this, what it does is it allows the user to come in and actually run the slideshow right in the page. So if you use a combination of Google Slides and Google Sites together, you can get a really good looking set of a very informational page that can contain a lot of wonderful information. You can also put in Google Sheets, any Google Sheet, but personally, I like the charts. Remember, for those of you that took the Google Sites, remember we made the chart with the grades. Let me hold on. Let me try this again. I did something wrong. I keep doing something wrong because I'm impatient. So when you have a spreadsheet that has charts in it, when you choose the spreadsheet, it shows you the charts. So now if I wanted to put in this chart and add it, now that's coming in from my spreadsheet. And I can put that in. Now, if the data in my spreadsheet changes, the data in this chart will change. It's going to be completely dynamic. So you can keep a dynamic chart in here. If you're doing something where you have students and you want them all to contribute to a Google Sheet, you can pick any Google Sheet you like and put it in here. And if it's shared with the people who are visiting the site and they're logged in, they can actually contribute or change the content of the sheet. So let me show you what that looks like in our preview mode. Okay, so here's the sheet and people can scroll. Now, if I had sharing capabilities or editing capabilities in here, I could literally go in here and click and change the content if I want. So this with Google Drive or the other Google apps, this just gives you just so many options because this is where you put it all together. To me, this is where you take all the little loose pieces from Google Drive, your sheet, your whatever, and put them together into something that might be a lesson or resources for an entire class or whatever. So that's the beauty of this. Now, what I need to do, we can't go too much further without talking about getting this to the public. Right now, nobody can see this but me, okay? And what I need to do is work on my publishing up here. See this word publish? Now, if I click publish, the first time you do it, it's going to ask you a name. And this is a little tricky because you have to make sure that you pick a name that hasn't been picked already, because this becomes the URL of the site. It becomes your actual web address. Now, the name will always start with whatever your account is. And I'm using my stockton.edu account. And then what precedes that will always be sites.google.com/the account/ whatever name you decide to give your site. So I'm calling this webinar sites. That I'm going to leave that like that. Now look at this. This is important, especially if you're using a school-based account. Who can view my site? Right now, the only people who could view it, if I were to publish this right now, the only people who could view it would people logged in with Stockton University accounts. I don't want that. I want this beautiful site to be seen to the world. So I'm going to click on Manage, and I want to expand my links. So this is saying only specific people. I'm going to change, and I want to put public on the web. Okay, done. I am now live. Okay, so it's publishing this. Now here's the key to publishing. If I come back here and make a change to this, my changes will not show unless I publish again. So every time you make a change to a previously published site, you have to make sure that you publish it again. Okay, so now if I want to view my published site, I'm going to click here, see View Published Site, the drop-down menu right under Publish. View Published Site, this is what it looks like, and this is the real deal. As a matter of fact, here's my URL on the top. So this link that's up here, if I copy this and I want to send it to somebody in a email or something like that, I can do that, or I could put this, as a link on my Homepage, I'll tell you what else is great. Thursday, we're going to be doing Google Classroom, and you can actually link to your sites from Google Classroom. So within Google Classroom, you can have one thing that's an assignment, and the assignment could all be contained within a site that the students can click on right from Google Classroom, which is something that's really nice. But this is your link right here, sites.google.com. And so look, I'm going to put this in to, if I put this in, say, a new tab here and put it in, I'm pasting it. It'll take me right there to it. So this is great for like student portfolios, any types of things like that. It's a great place for them to quickly, oh, sure, there are lots of places where you can make, more customized sites, but very few with this ease of use. I assigned a final project in Google Sites for a Stockton course that I taught in the last semester, and I think 5 students stayed at the end of the class for me to teach them how to do it. The rest just left because I gave them the option, and nobody had trouble creating a site. They all did it with almost no questions asked. So it really is that simple. The only other, I'm going to go over a few last tidbits, and then I'm going to open this up for questions. But oh, the divider, I didn't show you that. The divider is just basically if you want to put in a horizontal divider, it just puts it, see that little thing here, which is nice for separating sections. Let's maybe move that somewhere so you can see it a little better. See, it just makes a little divider. Nothing special, but it is worth taking 1 minute or so and also showing you how the calendar inserts, because that works really nicely. So let me go to my pages and let's go to, a calendar is a good thing for assignments, right? So if I want to insert my Google Calendar, now Google Calendar hasn't been part of this course, but it probably should be, and we'll probably add some Google Calendar workshops as we go on. But if I click on calendar, one thing, if you've used calendars before, you can have multiple calendars in your Google Calendars. So if I click on this R&B history one and do insert, now this calendar is going to go into my page. It doesn't look very impressive right now. That's because the settings are set to agenda and I have nothing listed in my agenda. But if I click on the settings, I can do the view mode, and I'll do it to month, and this is going to look a lot more like a calendar to you guys. And let's take a look at what this looks like in the page. Now, if I have events in this calendar, which of course I would enter from my Google Calendar in there, all of those events would show. So if you want to make up a nice schedule of something like this, I'll tell you who loves this. Our school cafeteria people who want to put the menus, Thursdays or hot dogs and sauerkraut, whatever, they can put all the foods and things in there. They use it like this constantly in schools now. And you should have seen the contortions they used to have to go through years ago to get this very same functionality to happen before things like this were developed that were so easy to use. Again, I made a change, right? So I have to publish this. By the way, when you publish it, it publishes all pages. So you don't have to worry about going to each individual page if you make changes and worry about publishing those. It will publish them globally for the entire site. So that's how it works. Now, if I wanted to collaborate on this site with somebody, let other people contribute to it, I could invite people as editors. So if I wanted to put Faisal in as an editor, Techno, he has a silly email. Okay, TechnoFry. I'll hit send. Are you sure? And I'm probably going to get an error because I don't have Gmail select. But I've now shared this with Faisal. So if he wants to come in here and edit this site, I've given him every right to do so. And that's how it works. So I think it's a good time to open up for questions. Does anybody have any questions? Hello?
Yes. Can you
Who's
hear me,
this?
Phil? This is Mike McGarvey.
Hey, Mike, what's happening? Oh, okay, now your name's appearing here. I'm using a different application this time, so it looks completely different to me. Okay, what's up?
Yeah, that's the same one this end. Well, my main question is this. I have a couple, but the main one is having to do with the site. So when I went to publish this little thing that I could put on video, you can see me, I think. No. User can allow it. Okay. At any rate. Okay. So I went to go on to do this little site that I created, and when I went to publish it,
Right.
so I'm going to do it again. Okay. So it says who can view my site. It says anyone, and then manage. Okay.
Right.
So I hit manage, right? Okay.
Hey,
Now
wait,
it says.
let me do the same thing
Jesus,
here
what's
so I
that?
can look at that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's see. Publish settings.
Sorry
Okay.
that.
No, that's
Okay.
cool.
So it says anyone on the internet can find and edit.
Okay.
I don't understand
It says
that. I don't
find
want
and
people
edit.
to
That
come
sounds
and
like
edit
you
it.
went to sharing, not publishing.
Oh, it does say share with others.
Right. So if you went here where it says share with others, share with others. I'm glad you brought this up because this is an important differentiation to make, and I think other people will benefit from this question. Share with others is for collaborators. Publish is for the people who you want to be viewers.
But why did it take me to share instead of because I hit publish?
Well, that I don't know. Maybe that just might have been sleight of hand or something. But see, share with others definitely opens up a different window than publish.
It says publish your site, and then it
Right.
says who can view my site. And
Right.
it says anyone manage. And then when I hit manage, it comes up with anyone on the internet can find and edit. And when I go to change it, it comes up with some different draft settings.
Hold on. Let me unpublish this site and start
Okay.
from the beginning again. Okay, so you go right up here. Are you seeing my mouse?
Let me get that back. Okay, I don't think you need to see me, right?
Okay, no. So here's publish.
I'm trying to
Okay,
close
you're
it.
saying who can view? Okay, anyone manage. Okay,
Yeah, see, right in here.
okay, yeah. Draft. Anyone on the internet can. Okay, see how it's okay. It does say edit. So if you click on change.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Can view. Just switch this thing over to view publish site. This little thing down.
Share with. Okay.
Let's see. Now let me see. Anyone? Yeah. Yeah. What? That is odd.
Yeah, mine's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Who can view my site? Anyone. And then it says
Right.
manage. Okay, so then weird.
Yeah. That was a good point, but
I'm the owner. I don't know.
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what happened with that. That's something that has changed in the interface. So I'm not quite sure. Faisal, we can't hear you.
Let me turn this off. How do I get out of this?
Oh yeah, that's right, Faisal. Thanks. Yeah, anyone can find and view published site. That's the one. The second option, Mike.
Okay,
I'm
so-
sorry. They've added this. This is new. I'm sorry about this. Anyone can find and view the published site. So if you go back to those publish settings you were talking about, the first option is the one that
Right.
was confusing us.
Yes.
The second one says publish anyone can find and view. That's the one you want to select.
Okay, got you.
Okay. And then when you click on change, you
Uh-huh.
could limit it just to Stockton University if you want, but
Okay.
well, I can based on that. I'm glad we figured that out. Thanks, Faisal. Faisal, I didn't hear you when you were speaking though. I just heard you through the wall. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay, cool. Any other questions?
No, thank you. This was very informative, though.
Okay, who's that? Deb?
Yep.
Yeah, good. Yeah, is this something you could use for your?
It might be. I'm an ESL teacher. I suppose if I did a presentation, it would be helpful.
Oh yeah, you know what? When you start finding how easy this is to do, as things come up in your teaching, or you'll be, oh, you know what? This will be quick and easy if I throw this into a Google site.
Yeah,
Because you can do as many of these as you want
I agree.
for as many different topics. So good. What district are you in, Deb?
Pleasantville.
Oh, okay.
I'm at
We get a lot of
North Main.
Pleasantville people here. This is good. I'm like the Pleasantville guy.
Also, Deb, this is very useful in the classroom setting, especially when the teacher wants her students to collaborate
Okay.
and create their own classroom website. Because you can
Okay.
actually, your classroom can have a web presence that is basically monitored and moderated by the teacher, and allowing the students to actually add content related to the class and the subject.
Wow. Good idea.
That's an idea.
Yeah. Very good idea.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, that was more of a comment, but
So,
okay. Hello?
Hi.
All right. Well, I'm finished if unless somebody has a question.
yeah, I have one more question, Phil, if no one else
Sure.
does. Heck is it? Okay, the photo gallery of thumbnails that you created.
Yeah. It's not really technically exactly what that is. I'm using it as in a makeshift sort of way, but yes, I know what you're referring to.
Okay. These images, they're URLs. They're images from URLs.
No, they're images that are on my Google Drive. So in other
Okay.
words, if you wanted to do this, what you'd have to do is have a folder on your Google Drive that had all the images in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then share that, and then put that folder into your page.
Got you.
So for instance, let me see here. Let's see if this shows. So when you look at this, see these images like this and this, they were already in the folder.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had nothing but images in here, it would kind of look like a thumbnail gallery.
Yeah.
Because they show, and of course remember the key to that is in the settings for that particular embedding of a folder, you have to be sure to select grid view as opposed to list view. Because
Mm-hmm.
but list view is good, I guess, if you have a
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? I thought I heard somebody saying something.
I was just saying that it's 30 seconds to 5.
Okay.
30 seconds to ask you questions.
Oh, and of course, we're going to cut it off right at 30 seconds, even if I'm answering the question.
Exactly.
All right. Well, since there's only 30 seconds, I do have one more, Phil. That
Okay.
wheel that was showing up when you were making the thing, I couldn't get that to show up. That little wheel that had the top options.
You mean in the folder, the embedded folder?
No, just when you first started, and you
Right.
just started putting even in text, the thing that says text and image.
Oh, you
and
just double click on white space.
Ah, okay. All right, I see.
Yeah, that was worth asking because that's a wicked cool feature.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is it took like 35 seconds to ask it.
I still have. I make it 5.
No, honestly, we can stay in the line as long as you have a question. We don't want to hasten to just stop
Yeah.
it altogether. Maybe you're thinking. Dorothy or Luis, Deb, do you have any questions?
Luis already told me he doesn't have any questions. He typed it.
Okay, you
No, I am good. I actually have to go. So I want to thank you. It's very informative, and I'm anxious to try this on my own.
Cool. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
And don't forget that we have one more webinar left. It's Google Classroom. And if you're a teacher, you will benefit from this. We'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you for coming, and best of luck with your implementation of what you're learning.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks, folks.
See you guys.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
See you.